Good morning and welcome to Norcal PTACs webinar, SBA Tools for Marketing and Subcontracting. We're very happy to have you here. My name is James Forrest. I am the program coordinator for Norcal PTAC, and we have Nancy Pigeon, who is one of our procurement specialists with Norcal PTAC. Before we hand things over to Nancy, pretty quickly, I just want to give a brief spiel on what we do as PTAC. So PTAC, we are the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center. It's a mouthful. We don't like saying it, so Norcal PTAC's a lot more pithy. We are hosted by the Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation. That's up in Arcata, California, in Humboldt County, right in the middle there. We used to have a red star that showed where we are. Anyways, that's where I live. That's where we are. But our team is spread out across the United States. So our administrative team is focused in Humboldt County. But we serve this whole Bay Area here, and we actually searched across the whole country to find the best specialists that we could find and to offer our services to our clients. So in 2020 alone, our services helped our clients spend more than $314 million, and that number goes up every year. So we're very excited about that, getting some new figures for this year once it closes out. How do we do this? How do we help our clients? That's the question. And here's how we do it. We do 3 basic core services. The first is one-on-one counseling. So you can meet individually with one of our procurement specialists, one-on-one, virtually, email, phone, video conference, whatever works for you. And you can go over all of the processes to sell your goods and services to the government, whether that's the federal government, state government, county, city, local, tribal, municipal, you name it. And there's, so we're talking about certifications, market research, compliance, reviewing RFPs, reviewing proposals, all sorts of things. Pretty much if it relates to government contracting, we can help with it. We can also do for our clients custom bid matching. This basically scours the internet and finds as many bid opportunities as it can that meets the criteria that you choose with your procurement specialist and put into the system. It's a nice way to stay on top of the opportunities that may be relevant to what your business wants to sell. And these 2 first categories of services, these are for our clients. And so our clients, you have to put in an application. I have a lot of folks that say, hey, can you connect me with a procurement specialist? And I'm like, well, I wish I could, but we have an application process. We're a grant funded nonprofit. We need to track the work that we do with our clients. So you have to be located in our service area. And our service area is in green on the map here, these 15 counties in Northern California. You have to have an established business, and you have to be interested in government contracting. So we don't help with business plans. We don't help with startup. We don't help with getting loans or financing and things like that. So if it's government contracting, you've got a business and you're in our service area, we're probably good to go. But please do go to our website and put an application. But this is, like I said, free and available to everyone, is to join all of our webinars. We're constantly putting on new webinars that we think are useful for folks that are interested in government contracting. And you can actually find all of our past webinars on our website, norcalptac.org, right there in orange where you'll see. And then if you click on the resources tab and then go to past webinars, there's dozens of webinars going back years at this point with all sorts of different contracting topics. And that is where this recording will go. So the slides, as well as the video from today, will be sent there. So that's free for everyone to take a look at. I really, really recommend taking a look at our website. It's one of the more useful contracting websites I've come across. If you're not in this service area and you're starting to get stressed out and wish that you were, trying to find a fake identity that lives in California, don't worry, there's PTACs across the country. So there's this second link, find your local PTAC, APTAC, that link there. Go ahead and click on that once you get the slides, or just Google it and find your local PTAC. There's 97 of them across the country, and we all offer the same basic core services. So please apply to your local PTAC, and we'd be happy to help you out. My contact information is on the bottom of all these slides, so you can see my phone number and my email address there. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about our services at all. All right, and as I mentioned, we have Nancy Pigeon, who is a real expert in innumerable topics related to contracting. And so you are lucky to have her today, and we are lucky to have her on the team. And so I'd like to hand things over to thank everyone for coming today. And if you have any questions during the presentation, put them in the Q&A as soon as they pop in your head. Don't save them for the end. We're going to have a Q&A in the middle, and we're going to have a Q&A in the end, and they'll be topic specific. So do try to keep your questions related to the specific topic we're talking about. So not how do I find contracts for janitorial or something like that, but actually questions about ProNet and SubNet and what we're talking about today. All right, thanks. This is Nancy Pigeon, folks, and hope you enjoy.
Hey, James, will you go ahead and put up the poll while I do my intro slide?
I would be glad to.
I can see where everybody is at on here. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here today. This is a topic I really like to give because a lot of people don't know how to update their profiles. So if you want to answer the poll there, that'd be great, and I can understand where everybody's coming from. But for me, I'm retired U.S. Air Force. My first 10 years were in ammo, so I did munitions, built bombs, things like that, fun stuff. 12 years in contracting, and that was fun too, deploying and writing contracts and things. When I retired, I went into the federal government contracting as a civilian. I did Air Force civilian in Ohio for a couple of years. Transferred back out to California because that's where my family is. Worked for the Veterans Affairs there in Sacramento. And then I transferred in the Bureau of Reclamation, was a contracting officer, did exciting work with Shasta Dam. That was my area of responsibility. I really love that area up there. It's beautiful. And my last year in the Bureau, I was the small business specialist, which really got me into loving helping small businesses. So when I was ready to leave there, this happened to become available, and I've been here 2 years now, and I really love it. I love helping the small businesses. I love helping all my clients. I have to say my specialty is federal, since that's where I spent most of my time, but I have learned a lot about California state contracting in the last 2 years, and I particularly enjoy the one-on-one counseling and helping people come up with a plan on how to move forward into government contracting. So that's a little about me. Do you want to do the responses for the poll so I can see where we're at? Okay. Okay, so we have a few not in SAM, a few that didn't see the option, and a few, okay, that's good. Okay, so the first part of this session today is going to be, you can go ahead and close that. Let me give my disclosure first. So all the information within this presentation is accurate at the time of this presentation. I was working on this up till yesterday, so everything's pretty accurate and up to date. But if you're viewing this, sometime down the road, just make sure to, check anything that might have changed as far as laws or legal things. There's not too much of that in here, but things could have changed, like the platform that this program is on could have changed, things like that. So just be careful if you're watching this, a couple of years down the road and things don't match up. Okay, agenda for today. So I am going to talk a little bit about System for Award Management. I know some of you said that you hadn't registered yet. And the important part of the System for Award Management that we're going to talk about today is filling out that SBA profile. It's like on the second to last page, and a lot of people miss it. So I want you to be able to fill that out, and I'll talk a little bit about the importance of filling that out. Then we'll check into the option of updating it outside of SAM, and that's through the SBA General Login system and ProNet. ProNet is what actually runs the SBA profile, so it's kind of the platform. And then we'll talk about Dynamic Small Business Search, which is DSBS. Some of you may not have heard of that, but it's a very important platform for contracting officers. I used to use it every single day, numerous times a day when I was doing requirements. And this is your profile that you do in SAM or in ProNet. It all leads into this. And so that's why we were calling it marketing tools, because this is how you're going to market yourself to the government contracting officers. And then I thought, since we were in ProNet and the general login system, I would talk to you about Subnet, because that's the way to look at subcontracting opportunities. And you can also advertise yourself. So another marketing tool. And so that's why this is called marketing tools and Subnet. And then I'll do a summary of everything that we talked about. So we'll move right into System Award Management. Whoops. All right, wheels going backwards. There we go. Okay, so if you want to do business with the federal government, then you need to register in SAM. This is the one location where the government has everyone register, prove who you are, give your basic financial information, your procurement information, and certify to the representations and certifications that come from the Federal Acquisition Regulation. And you have to renew that every year. So this is just to make sure that you're actually who you say you are and that you want to do business with the government. So they do the checks and balances there to make sure you are a valid firm within the United States. And then SAM will validate your information and share it with federal agencies and finance offices. So you do have to put your banking information in there because that's how you're going to get paid. The government does not cut checks anymore. Everything's EFT. And so when you're putting in your banking information, make sure it's correct because that's where your money is going to go when you get a contract. And then, like I was saying at the end, there is a place, it's the second to last page. If your NAICS code and your income or number of employees means that you're a small business, there will be a pop-up on the side that adds to you. It's the second to last page, and it's called the SBA database of the small business profile. So if you haven't registered in SAM before, make sure you look for that when you're registering. You can also work with a PTAC advisor to help you through that. And they'll make sure that you get that registered. So this is what I was saying. If you selected at least one NAICS code for which you qualify, you'll provided a link to SBA Supplemental Pages. And again, it's like the second to the last page. When you finish this, then you're almost ready to submit. So this is what it looks like in SAM. You'll want to click on this button. It will take you to another page, the SBA page for your profile. And then once you're on the supplemental page, you'll see information that you entered in SAM. So everything that you entered in SAM is going to transfer over into your profile. So if you see anything wrong when you go into your SBA profile that's SAM related, you'll have to go back in SAM and edit that. But there are things for you to fill out. You can put in keywords. That way when a contracting officer searches in the DSBS, they can put in a keyword and you should hopefully pop up. You can put your URL. That way the contracting officer can click on it and go to your URL. A capability narrative. This is different than your capability statement. It's only about 500 words, but just to get the point across to the contracting officer of what you actually do. Then there's owner information, any special equipment you use. There are some industries that use special equipment. Any non-governmental certifications such as your construction or your computer or any medical certifications. It will ask you if you want to be an exporter. We can get to that in a little bit. And then you can add references if you like. So if you have done several government jobs and you want to put references in that the government can call, if they're looking in DSBS just to get an idea of how you work and your performance, you can also add references. Okay, so these are, is that the right one? Yeah. So this is how the SBA profile looks. And this is after you've completed. I couldn't get into SAM to find the actual one you fill out, but this is what comes up. I did blank out. I didn't want to give away some folks here. So all of this is based on your SAM data. So if anything in any of these categories are wrong, you'll have to go back into SAM to edit them. And then we have the organization, owner, and certifications. Again, these are based on SAM data. This ownership and self-certification, that comes from SAM. The current principles will come from your, from when you fill out the, if whoever is the government POC, the secretary, the, whoever you put in there as a principal. And then it'll talk about whether you are certified. And these are all the certifications that go through the SBA that you actually have to put in to be certified for. So if you were 8A, it would have all of your information out here, your case number, your entrance and exit. If you're hub zone, it would say yes and the date. If you happen to be in any joint ventures, it would say that too. And then woman-owned small business certification. Let's see, I think this one she was pending, right? Yeah. So if you're pending in the woman-owned small business certification, it will be marked yes. And then once you are certified, it will say yes, and then it will give the certification date. And then the same for the economically disadvantaged. So this is one way to check your status if you're not sure where you're standing in the WSB line of certifications. I just want to say, yeah, this is important if the contracting officer is looking at it, because if I do a search for woman-owned small business for my requirement, I want to see it here. And if it's yes pending, and I can go ahead and let them through to bid on the requirement. And then if they win, I could call the SBA and have that expedited. So that's just one little thing to remember. If you do have a pending status and you apply for a set aside for woman-owned small business, if the contracting officer tells you you can't because you're not certified, they can expedite it. So just remember that. Okay. So these are based on the contractor input, and this is what I said, the non-federal government certifications. So so they've added some here. These all look like California certifications. Here's the narrative, which I said is really important. And I can show you that. I'm going to show you that again a little bit when we get into the BS section. But make sure you have a really good what you do, how long you've been doing it, any work that you've done with federal or state agencies like she has here. So be very succinct in what you put on here, what a contracting officer would like to know about your company and what you do. And again, these are based on contractor input, the special equipment, the business type percentage. So this is 100% service. There's also construction. If you do construction service, you could do 50-50, you know, whatever you're doing. If you do construction and you need bonding levels, you can put your bonding level here. So this whole section is based on your input that you're going to put when you update that SBA profile through that link in SAM. This is going to show your NAICS code and your size standard. So when a CO comes in here, I'm going to do 541620 environmental consulting services. I use this one all the time because that's what I did all the time for the Bureau. This was the one I searched all the time. So environmental consulting services. So yes, they're a yes. And then if I'm looking for woman-owned, I can do a set aside for environmental consulting services, woman-owned small businesses. So that's part of my market research as a contracting officer. And then keywords, don't skip the keywords because sometimes we will search on the NAICS code as well as a keyword. So if I was looking, say I was looking for someone to do NEPA in California, I would put in 541620 for environmental, then I can put in the keyword NEPA. And then anyone who has the keyword NEPA would show up. So I could do woman-owned, 541620 and NEPA, and that would give me a list of all the woman-owned NEPA in California, and I can reach out to them about their business and if they would be interested in bidding on a project. Here's some miscellaneous things. If you have quality assurance standards, such as the ISO and those, you can put those down. They do give you a list of ones to choose from. EDI, if you marked EDI and you added your information, that will show up here. That's electronic data interchange. That's a way of bidding through an interchange or communicating through an interchange. Some of it's required on some contracts. It does ask if you want to be an exporter, and I tried to look up where this information goes. I guess it goes to the SBA, and they have some type of exporter section. I don't know if this information goes there. I don't have too many people that select it, but I did try to find out some more information about it. So if you want to export and you fill this out, you may get an email from someone in the SBA about exporting. And then this last one, this is where the references go. So if you do fill out a reference, it will go there. Okay, so if you went into SAM and you didn't, or you skipped over that part because you didn't realize you had to click a button to go there, or if the ProNet happened to be down that day and you didn't have a button, or if you didn't fill out the keywords and capability statement because you didn't realize how important it was, you can go through the SBA General Login system and get access to that information. That way you don't have to go all the way back through SAM to try to correct it, because every time you go into SAM to do something like that, then it has to be reviewed. So this was what I really wanted to get across today, is how to get in here to update your profile in case you missed some of those things and now you realize how important they are. So the first thing you have to do is go into the SBA General Login system. And so what I say here, so to get a GLS account, you go to this GLS landing page, and I did put a link here. So once you get the slides, you'll be able to click on the link, or you can just Google General Logins, SBA General Login System, and it will take you there. You click on create a new SBA GLS account, and then you register for an account. And then once your registration is accepted, they'll send you an email. And then you can go in and update your profile. And I kind of just put a few screenshots here. So once you get on the page, you will go here, create a new SBA GLS account. And then you'll complete all these data entries. This is a user ID that you want to use for your login, your name, your information, create a PIN, all your address, email address. This federal employee is if you're getting a federal employee login, so you'll put no there. So then you'll click and submit that. And then they will send you a password that's associated with your user ID. So wait for that email to come in. And then you'll go back in and sign in using your user ID and password. And you have to change your password on your first login. And then you have to set up your profile within the general login system. This isn't your small business profile. This is the SBA General Login System profile. So you'll click on update profile, and this is where you're going to add your business. So you'll update your identity and contact info. You'll want to add your business profile. You'll click yes to add the new business. I'm going to show you this in a minute. I couldn't fit it all on the same screen. You'll enter your business EIN or SSN and the DUNS information. Click submit, and then if something's not right, it will come up and tell you, or it'll tell you it's been successfully updated. So what you're going to want to do is when you're on this, so you already filled this out when you registered. So what you'll want to do is come down here and add a new business and click yes, and put in your EIN, SSN, and your DUNS number, and then click on that, and then it'll be saved to the system, so that then you can go, when you go register for your SBA supplemental page profile, it'll already be there. So let's get to that. So now you have to register for ProNet. I know this sounds like a lot of steps, but when you're actually in there doing it, it doesn't take that long. So SBA ProNet. So to update your SBA profile, where you add your keywords, your capability statement, and all of that, you'll register for the SBA profile. So on the next page, it'll walk you through the getting access. And again, this is just saying you'll be able to update your information. But if you find anything within your SBA profile, again, I just want to reiterate, if it's something that pulled from SAM and the information is incorrect, you'll have to go to SAM to correct it. You won't be able to correct it in this system. This is just for those, the things that we talked about already. So what you want to do is go ahead and log into your general login system, and then you should have access up here now once you've completed everything. You'll select the folder icon next to the ProNet. So there will be a list of things, and one will say ProNet. And then you'll want to click on SBA Supplemental Pages. So you click on that, and then once you do select one on the down, and it should have your business there. If it doesn't have your business there, then you'll have to go back and add it like we did in the last slide. But it should be there if you did it properly. You'll submit you'll select the submit button, and then you'll get this, the message that's appearing down here below. It's been successfully updated, and they're going to assign the roles to you, and it's been sent to the program office for approval. Once you get that notification that it's there, you can log back into your login page, and then you'll select the choose the function link in the site header, the choose function. And then you'll have access to the ProNet supplemental pages. And this is where you can go update your keywords, all that information that we talked about previously. You can add your capability statement, all of that. So that's how you get into the general login system. Choose that function, and then go ahead and update all of your information that you either didn't before, or you have updates, or you created a new capability narrative that sounds better than what you had before. So this is the easier way to come in and update your supplemental page within the SBA, besides going all the way through SAM to that last page and updating it, and then submitting your SAM registration all over again. And again, it sounds a little complicated, but it's not once you get in there and actually sign up for it. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the dynamic small business search, and this is DSBS. This is the system I told you that the supplemental pages feed into. And this is the page that contracting officers look at. Like I told you, I looked at it daily. Every time I got a requirement, I'm required to come in here and do my market research to find set-asides, or if small business can even do what I'm asking for. And so that's why it's important to keep those supplemental pages updated, because it is a marketing tool for you, whether you know it or not. So let's look at DSBS. Okay, so I already talked a little bit about this. Sorry, I'm a little bit ahead in my slides here. So, DSBS is the main reason you keep your SBA profile updated. Main tool for procurement officials, we talked about that. It also is where COs use to verify the socioeconomic certification, like I told you about the woman-owned small business, or looking for an 8A certification date, checking to see if your hub zone status is current. But one other thing, when we're talking about marketing, also prime contractors will look on here, because if you may or may not know that prime contractors are also provided a goal to contract to small businesses, and especially the socioeconomic of the 8A, the hub zone, the woman-owned small business, the disadvantaged veteran-owned small businesses. So the government passes along a goal to them that they have to meet each year. So prime contractors will use this database as well to search for subcontractors or partners for joint ventures and teaming. So again, just another reason to have all that information filled out, so that they can look at you and get a pretty good idea of your business just by seeing it. Have your web address in there so that they can go look at that too. If you have references, really good references on work that you've done, especially federal work, make sure you get that in there. And it's also a tool for you as a small business. You can go look at your competition. So maybe you know, you're in a small place in California, say if you're in the Bay Area, and you know that you have competitors in there, and you're just now filling out, maybe you're just now filling out your capability narrative to go in here. You can search for your competitors and see what theirs looks like. You know, maybe one up the competition there to get yourself noticed. So yeah, take a look at that. And then, you can also use it if you want to team with someone as well. Not necessarily total competition, but if you have something come up and you need a teaming person for something that you don't do, you can look on here and find someone that may be able to help you with that. You can search by zip code, you can search by area code, by state. There's a lot of different ways to search. And actually, Laney Bean, one of our counselors here, he just did a webinar for an in-depth look at DSBS, something I wasn't going to get into here today. So I'd really like you, after you watch this, if you have time today, to go ahead and click on that link when you get the slides and take a look at Lenny's his webinar, because he really tells you how to do your market research. He goes more in depth on using it as a marketing tool and finding your competition and finding joint ventures and prime contractors. So if you go look at that, you'll get a lot more in-depth information and why this is important to keep that profile updated and make sure you set it up. And again, this is one I pulled today. So just so you know how important it is, I can't reiterate that enough. So I searched on 54162 in California. And I also looked for women-owned small businesses. So these are just a few. There's actually 31 profiles, so not too many. And I just did a quick snapshot of them. And you can see the people who actually filled in a good capability narrative. They used all the words that they were available to them, the 500 or so that were available to them. Some people didn't at all. So if I'm a contracting officer, I only have so much time to spend on a requirement. So I'm probably not going to be too interested in the ones that don't fill out their capability narrative. If I'm looking for NEPA, if I didn't do a keyword search, but I see this NEPA one, I'm like, okay, that's a good one. They have NEPA. I'll call them, I'll just click on them and get their information. So a lot of decisions, contracting officer make are based on this one screen right here. I may not even go in and look at this one because they didn't bother to do their narrative. Some of these that are longer, I want to read through and go click on them because they seem interesting. This one's 8A. Okay, as a woman, 8A, small disadvantage. That could fit into all my goals. So basically, this screen is just to show you how important filling out that profile is and keeping it up to date. So that was that for, I think that's it for, yeah. So James, do we want to look at questions on this section before we move to subnet?
Yeah, let's go ahead and looks like we got 4 questions. Just a reminder to folks, no worries if you put your question into the chat, but we would prefer if you put it into the Q&A. It's so much easier to track it that way. Yeah. We can keep them organized, but certainly not disappointed if you put in the chat. But let's see. All right. Christopher Borlas is, I'm going to rephrase this as a question. If I'm a sole proprietor with just one full-time employee, could that be why it's not prompting me to fill out the dynamic search small business search profile in SAM?
I'm sorry. No, that shouldn't be. It should be based on whether you're a small business or not. If you're a sole proprietor with one full-time employee, it's going to be based on your NAICS code. So I would take a look at your NAICS code and your and make sure that you're a small business, because that'd be showing up. And sometimes I have to say, when you go into do SAM, sometimes the ProNet is down and you won't see it. So that's kind of why I'm giving you the second way to get in there and fill it out. So, so you can either take a look at that, or if you have a PTAC counselor, ask them as well. Or if you need help filling out that SAM registration. Okay, next.
Okay, Michelle's asking, I'm completing my registration on SAM, but I keep getting an email that says my EIN doesn't match with the IRS. I checked my EIN letter and everything matches. What can I do to rectify it?
Well, this is kind of outside of our discussion today. But if you look at your EIN letter, whoever it's addressed to, that's who needs to be in the IRS note on SAM. So if it's your business, you need to put your business. If it's addressed to you, then you need to put your name. And again, you can get with PTAC counselor to help you on that if you need to.
Thank you. Lori Lago is asking, if you've already created your profile when you're registered for SAM, do you still have to create a GLS account to see or change the information?
You don't have to. I'm just showing you a way to do it without having, because sometimes SAM, you know, you have to go all the way back through SAM to that last page to update your profile. So I'm just showing you a better workaround to kind of, you can go see it anytime. And plus, every time you update something in SAM, it has to go through IRS, it has to go through CAGE. So it's better to go to GLS and just update it.
Nice shortcut. Okay. And do you understand the Christopher's question there?
Christopher, I'm not sure, is it frozen because and you're not registered in SAM? Because you have to be registered in SAM in order to go do the GLS. So maybe send a question. I don't know if you have a PTAC counselor, if you want to get with PTAC.
Christopher's question was basically, it seems that the SAM profile is frozen, he's unable to upload it, and SAM Gov support is not really helping. So
I would get a PTAC counselor to help you with that.
Okay. And then you said you're going to try the SBA GSL, so that's might be a good idea too.
Basic information in SAM.
Jesse's asking, is it possible to modify basic business information in SAM or SBA, such as minority or WOSB, since it is self-certified currently?
Whatever you put in SAM is going to come across. So if you registered as a minority, even though you self-certify as WSB and SAM, if you don't certify through SBA, it's not going to show up. There's an actual certification process for woman-owned small business. So that's where the date and the certification comes up on woman-owned small business. Self-certification doesn't exist anymore for WSB.
Okay.
I think we'll move on. I don't.
Okay. All right.
I want to make sure I get through this.
Yeah. All
right. Okay. So the second thing I want to talk to you about today is also in the GLS login. And this is SBA Subnet. It's a subcontracting network system for federal government subcontracting opportunities. It's actually free. You can go look at it today. You can Google Subnet. You know, if you're looking for stuff in California, you can click on California, find prime contractors who are looking for subcontractors, and go from there. So you don't actually have to sign up for it to see it. But if you want to post something in Subnet, you'll need to register through the GLS. And you can actually register for it at the same time as you're doing ProNet. I just kind of broke it up for the presentation's sake. So if you want to post something, say you see a solicitation and you want to say that you're available as a subcontractor, you can register in Subnet and you'll be able to post that. So let's take a look at it. So registering for Subnet, again, you'll log in again and you'll click access. And like I said, you can select these both at the same time. You don't have to do them each separately. So when you go in to sign up for ProNet, I recommend you sign up for the subcontracting net as well. And this is what it looks like. It's like it says, it bridges the gap between businesses seeking small businesses and small businesses seeking contracting opportunities. You can do it, search for solicitations or outreach events. I think NSS is just the like sources sought, notices of sources sought. Sorry, I had to put that together there. So what I did for this presentation, I clicked on California. You can either click on California or you can select the state here. And so these are some of the things that came up when I did the subnet search. These are all prime contractors. These are the current solicitations that they're looking for subcontractors for. As you can see, some of these are construction, or most of them are construction, and there's a computer related one. Let's see. Oh, here's the NAICS, sorry. These are the NAICS that they're looking for to help them on the solicitation. And then they talk about additional NAICS, and then they give you the point of contact to phone and things like that. But if you click on the solicitation number, it's going to take you in for more information. So here's the advertisement. This was the Dutra group. I picked this one. They're looking for all kinds of small businesses to help them with their heavy and civil engineering construction. This solicitation, particular solicitation, looks like this is a note of sources sought. So they're trying to find subs before the solicitation comes out. So NSS would be notice of sources sought. So they're trying to get their small businesses in a row so that they can put them on their proposal when they submit it. So they're looking for dredging projects seeking participation from all small categories and Contra Costa County. They talk about what their needs are: ship, stores, steel, welding supplies, marina. Please send your line cards and capability statements via email. And then they also give you a subnet self-certification form to fill out to submit. And you would submit that here. So if you're interested in construction, subcontracting, you can come out to subnet and find those opportunities. They also have an advanced search capability. So if you're out on, say you're out on SAM and you see a solicitation and you want to look it up to see if any prime contractors have put out an advertisement, they're looking for subcontractors, you can go ahead and type in the solicitation number and any of these other advanced information just to find that single one that you're interested in. So now if you're, well, if you happen to be a prime watching today, or a small business who maybe wants to subcontract with another small business, or maybe, do a joint venture. Maybe if you want to say, let a prime know that you're interested in a solicitation, you would log into GLS, and this is after you get access to subnet, and you would click on post to modify, click on post solicitation, or if you have a source of sought that you're looking to do subcontracting on, you would post that. And I think I have a screenshot of that. So you can come in here and do post event. So once you're in your profile, you can say post event or post a solicitation or a notice of sources sought. And then that will take you to the main page for posting. So you can put your business name, and if you have the solicitation or the notice for sources sought, you can put that in here. If you're a prime or a small business looking for another business, you can click what you're looking for, the NAICS you're looking for. If you have any additional NAICS, you can put that in. You can put in a brief solicitation. So if you're a prime looking for someone, you can talk about exactly what you're looking for this solicitation. If you are looking for a prime, you can put your information in here to say you're interested in this solicitation and this is what you can provide. And then most of this is just your POC information, the place of performance where you can get that off the solicitation. And then this is more information about the solicitation you want to post for. A lot of times I see small businesses, they just post a general looking for subcontracting opportunities. So you may not necessarily have to fill all of this out. Well, you do have to fill out what's an asterisk, but businesses do, or small businesses do use this to market themselves out on the subnet. But you can also find the primes and also someone to maybe venture with. If you need any more information on Subnet, they do have a Subnet help, and has all these topics. You can also ask your PTAC counselor. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with words today. Sorry about that. If you need additional help, you can click on the link or go to your PTAC counselor if you have one. Let's see. Oh, summary. Okay. So let's talk about what we learned today. So when you register in the System Award Management, towards the end, if you're a small business in any of your NAICS category that you selected, you will have the opportunity to fill out your SBA profile. Please make sure you do this. There were a few people that hadn't registered in SAM yet, so please make sure you do that when you go through the registration. And like I said, sometimes ProNet is down and that login won't be there at all. It'll tell you something like it's not available. Go ahead and finish your registration, and then once your SAM comes back approved, then you can go to GLS and add your information in there just the way I showed you today. So SBA General Login system, again, that's where you go to set up your account and put your information in and register for ProNet and Subnet. You'll use ProNet to update your profile, to include your capability statement, your keywords, any equipment you use, any references you want. You do that through SBA ProNet. And then ProNet feeds into the dynamic small business search, which I told you contracting officers use on a daily basis to look for set-asides for their requirements, verify socioeconomic standing, and things like that. So it's very important that all of your information is updated in there. I can't reiterate that enough. And then we looked at SBA Subnet, just another little marketing tool or an opportunity to find subcontracting opportunities. If you're not a large business and you like to do subcontracting, you can also post your information out there, or opportunities of your own to find other businesses to work with. And so that's it for the summary. Did you want to pop that last poll up there? We'll do that. Or should I do questions first? Oh, we'll do it.
While we're publishing the poll, we can go over some upcoming events here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So it is Women's Small Business Month, and we're having a series. This today is not part of it. This is not specifically related to Women's Small Business Month, but we already had one, and we have two more that we're partnering with the Women's Business Centers. There's one that we're partnering with in Reading, and one we're partnering with in Oakland, and they're great resources as well. So the first is coming up on Thursday, or rather the second in the series, but the first upcoming one, and it's on getting DDE certified. And our procurement specialist, Liz Brazil, is presenting on that. That's going to be really great. Then we kind of went over an intro, sort of how to get different kinds of certifications with Nancy last time. But now we're going to do a deep dive with the WOSB, or the economically disadvantaged version of the Women-Owned Small Business certification. And that is next Thursday. So stay tuned to that as well. Also with Nancy. And let's go ahead and let's see, is there another slide here?
Oh,
okay,
yeah, the veteran.
So November is Veterans Small Business Week. And so this is also a very cool opportunity to put on a series for us. So we're doing a certifications webinar, sort of an overview on veteran-owned businesses. Then we're gonna, that's on Tuesday, November 2nd. As you can see, all of these are at 10 a.m. And then we've got micro awards, gateway to DoD contracting on the 3rd, and on the 4th, doing business with the U.S. Air Force. We actually have a couple of representatives from the Air Force that will be presenting that one while we host. So go ahead and check those out, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the first week of November. All right, let's publish these poll results. Last chance to enter, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, sharing right now. So it looks like most folks are excited about registering. All right, yeah, 13 out of 18 said that they will register in GLS for ProNet and Subnet. So
That's awesome.
That is very great.
That was my good goal for today then.
There we go.
Yeah, a
You
lot of
got
people, a lot of people don't know about these two things. So glad I was able to get that information out there. If you need more information, talk to your PTAC counselor or sign up with PTAC. All our services are free, like James said, and we just love working with our clients. So it's free to you, and if you don't like it, you don't have to come back and talk to us again. So
it's true. It doesn't cost you much than a couple.
It doesn't cost you
more than a couple of
anything,
minutes for application and setting up.
Let's finish up those questions
before we head into the Q&A. I imagine some folks will want to drop off. First of all, stay for the Q&A. There's always interesting stuff. But if you do drop off, just keep in mind that you're going to be redirected towards a survey. It's like a little HSU link. If you click on that, it will just give you an opportunity to let you know how you felt about today's webinar. It makes a big difference for us to know how we can improve our services, and makes a big difference for our funder as well. So please just take a second. You can do it anonymously. All right, questions go into the Q&A tab, not the chat. And if you have any leftover questions, you can go ahead and email me at the email on the screen. We do currently have, get this poll out of the way. We do currently have 3 questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
First is Lori's question. The GLS account is not automatically created. Is this correct?
That's right. You have to go in and create your GLS account. Going through SAM does not create a GLS account. You still have to go in and do that.
Okay, good to review these facts. Dion Dixon is saying, no bid contracts. Will contracting officers ever select WOSB that are not yet certified due to not meeting the income requirements? So some of us are still working to achieve the minimum, but need the opportunities to be selected.
That's not really.
That's not one you can answer.
What our presentation was about today.
Sometimes it's hard for me to tell exactly what's
talk to your PTAC counselor, get a PTAC counselor. They can help you through all of that. Be available later. The WSB webinar.
I can answer that. All of our webinars are available later. So as long as we host it, as long as it's a PTAC hosted webinar, it's going to be on our website under resources, past webinars. And the last question here, will SDVOSB self-certification appear on SBA or have the ability to begin bidding on federal contracts? It's also not directly related to this.
Yeah, well, I can answer it. SDVOSB, if you certify as a SDVOSB, it will show up. However, starting next year, you will actually have to get certified through the SBA. I think that's a 2-year process, just like the woman-owned small business one. Just so you know that that's coming up, that they're actually they're pulling it from the VA and they're bringing it over to the SBA. So there are changes ahead for that, but if you self-certified as SDVOSB, it will show up in there. Oh, okay. What was that last question? Oh.
I'm muted. Christopher is asking, you consider the DSB profile the other side of the coin in addition to lots of outreach with capability statement, email, phone, etc. Yeah,
well, DSBS is really important for contracting officers. Like I said, I was always on there. All contracting officers have to do market research. They have to fill out a form saying that they did it. They have to print out the pages saying they did it, and then they have to justify their reason for going to a woman-owned small business, going to an 8A. So the DSB profile, you need all your information in there because that's what contracting officers look at to make their decisions. It's very important. You say the other side of the coin, but I probably think DSB is probably more important.
All right, well, just in good time, we are out of questions. So thank you everyone for joining. I just entered in the chat a little link. You can take a moment to click on that if you'd like. You can fill out an anonymous survey or non-anonymous. Let us know what you felt about today's webinar. Stay updated for future events on our website. Again, my phone number and email address are there on the screen. Call if I don't pick up, leave a message. We are happy to help, and we will get back to you and see what we can do. And remember, if you're not in a service area in Northern California, but you want to talk to a PTAC procurement specialist, like we've been suggesting, PTACs are all over the place. So find your local PTAC, aptac-us.org/find a PTAC, or just Google your county and type in PTAC or your county or state. That always works for me. So
Yeah.
in any case, thank you so much to Nancy for putting
Thank
this
you.
together, and thanks to everyone for joining.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.